Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're going to be trying to do a little bit more of an analysis instead of like a commentary. This is going to be one of my tryout games. I was playing Rumble against Cho'Gath. We ended up winning early game and losing late game in this, so we're going to talk about not only my play, what could have gone better, but also we're going to talk about the team composition and builds that happened. So, let's get right into it. We're not going to go over a lot of basic stuff like CSing and stuff this game. We're going to try to focus on the big ideas and the decisions that could have led us to victory. Okay? So here we go. Starting off. Now the Rumble Cho'Gath lane is honestly pretty even. The Rumble can bully the Cho'Gath a little bit early, but Cho'Gath does have his passive to restore off the creeps, so there was really no advantage to be gained for a long time here. Until late game maybe when Cho'Gath can run down Rumble, but either way Rumble's still going to do a lot of damage. Basically the matchup's pretty even. I'm just looking for jungle pressure here. And so at this point in time, what I want to be doing is on this wave right here, because I know Gragas started his Raptors, I believe, and then went down for blue. It was Raptors red, Wolves blue. He was either going to come top super early, which is what my ward was for, or he's going to come top like extremely late. So I'm free to harass and push in a little bit. What I should do in this situation is I should probably either have froze the wave so to try to deny Cho'Gath some CS, or to completely shove in the wave to try to make sure he gets frustrated. I can poke him under tower, he can miss a little bit of CS under tower and whatnot, but because I didn't freeze the wave, I have to go with the latter option of trying to push him in. And so let's see if I commit to that. Instead, I kind of let the wave sit there, and I'm just letting him have the wave right here out in front of his turret, which is pretty bad, to be honest. This is pretty bad wave management. And so I have J4 topside. I could have just hard shoved this in because I know I have security right now, especially with Gragas bot side. I think J4's calling to make a play here. And so we end up going in on the Cho'Gath with our J4 here, rather. We get his flash. Let's go back and look at the fight, see if there was anything I could have done better in order to secure the kill for us. So, J4's calling for the gank. We know that Cho'Gath's going to go ward here soon, and I have pressure the wave, so he's forced to sit there. We end up getting the knockup from J4. I miss one of my, what's it called? Harpoons. If I had landed my harpoon, it would have been a lot better. Here, I definitely go for, because I'm about to overheat, I would recommend going, because I have Flame Spirit going, about to overheat, recommend landing the second harpoon and then moving in as fast as possible for the enhanced auto attacks. Now, likely after this point, with the Cho'Gath still having flash up, we're not going to get the kill. We may have gotten it if I had landed the first one, but either way, we're not going to get the kill here. He's going to flash away. So looking forward to what we can do here next. Next here, we're going to end up having Cho'Gath under tower without a flash. So we're going to need to try to deny Cho'Gath CS. The optimal play is to try to deny Cho'Gath CS because he will have to play safe because he doesn't have flash. And if he doesn't play safe, we ask our jungler for the return gank and we punish the Cho'Gath, get a kill on him because he's flashless. So let's see what happens. So he gets flash, he's low, he's going to end up actually backing here. So he's going to end up we try to stop his back, but instead he's just going to back completely. And I start pushing the wave out a little bit. But the wave continues to push towards me. We see the Cho'Gath TP back. We're letting the wave push towards us right now. The Cho'Gath's in a pretty bad spot at this point in time because he has to play safe because he doesn't have flash, and we're going to wait for the return gank if we can. So we're just getting the CS, trying to let the wave push towards us as we have our J4 come back up. Might have been... We know he warded the bush when he went to CJ4 because that's why J4 EQ comboed. So J4, he knows he can't go in the bush, and Cho'Gath's not pushing up far enough, so I end up having to hard shove this wave in. But because I don't know where Gragas is on the map, it's really bad situation because I could either commit to force that wave into the tower, or I let the Cho'Gath basically get all the CS. So in this situation, I think I make the right play. I definitely agree with not going for the greedy play of pushing the Cho'Gath in because for all I know, Gragas is in this bush here soon. Probably not right now, but in a couple seconds because we just saw him. So I'm going to try to push it in because I have a little bit of vision now as I get my cooldowns up, and then we should just back here if we have enough item for haunting guys, but I think I do not have enough where those in at 1.2k. We want to get that haunting guys on our first back, and so we're going to wait it out, and we should wait it out. Because in this matchup, we're going to talk about the Rumble build. We want haunting guys. We want then into either Sork Shoes or into complete Leandries. I don't even know if that's spelled correctly. But yeah. So then we want either haunting guys into Sork Shoes, or we want haunting guys into straight Leandries and then Sork Shoes. And against this team composition, actually, because they're really tanky and they only have 180 threat, we could either go for our third item, our second item could either be Banshee's Veil, Void Staff, or Zonia's. Now, the most meta is Zonia's and or Void Staff as a secondary. I would definitely recommend maybe even going Rylai's against this team if the Tristana isn't too far ahead, but I believe this game opt to go Void Staff. I believe Void Staff benefits a ton because they have both the tanks. You need to get through those tanks, and this game, the Tristana early game was not too far ahead, so I didn't have to build a Zonia's. I think I end up building an Arm Guard to help. I end up delaying my build path a little bit, but I do get that extra armor against the Tristana because she does start to become a threat. And the Orianna the whole game is not a big, massive threat, so I don't have to worry about building a Banshee's Veil if Cho'Gath and Orianna were just absolutely destroying our team. But that's not the case. So I definitely recommend a Void Staff here to just absolutely shred through their magic resist. So without further ado, let's see, because I'm not going to back here until I have enough for Haunting Guys, because Haunting Guys is crucial, and I'm not feeling threatened in this lane right now. We're actually going to see Gragas here, so I'm free to try to get my Haunting Guys in terms of items. And so yeah, I'm just going to end up farming it out. I should let my team know at this point I have TP. I have level 6. We're asking to make a play, I think. We should definitely look, because we have those deep vision. We have these deep wards here to an extent. So if they end up if Tristana Jhin end up pushing in our bot lane, I can TP in. And I definitely should have asked our team to place a deep ward here, because our Rakan has a charge up. So I could have asked for a deep ward here so that and let these guys push so that we can make a play bot. For the moment, I do have the experience advantage on the Cho'Gath. It's possible the Cho'Gath gets level 6 off this wave, considering it's cannon. I'm actually going to see real quick if he gets it off. See, no, he doesn't even get it off that wave. So in this time frame, this little window, I could have asked my bot lane to make a play by giving me a ward, and then completely backing off, giving these guys the false sense of security that they can push this wave in, or at least be a little bit more aggressive. And if they had done that, I would have been able to TP here, while Cho'Gath would have had to either follow at level 5 or stay top till 6 and then TP. Now at this point in time, with our Corki back in base and our J4 covering mid, we know that the other team should go for a play. So I'm telling my team I have TP, but in terms of wards to actually join the fight, I have this ward in the river that might get me killed if I end up entering a fight. Say Gragas comes down from here and Orianna comes in from here, then I'm screwed, because I would only be able to engage over here and then get sandwiched between these two guys. Or I could go to this ward over here and pretty much be only a threat to the Orianna that's coming in from the mid lane. So either way, we definitely need to have communicated to our team that, hey, we need some more vision in the lane for my TP. And, hey, I have level 6 at this moment. Cho'Gath does not. Let's make a play in this small window of opportunity. So we identified that they're going to make a play because Corki went back and J4 covered mid. That's 2 of our members on the map that they know where they are for the most part. So that's at best for us a 3v3 or 3v4, and for them it's 2v4. So here we go as Xayah Rakan, and then Cho'Gath does get level 6 here. Cho'Gath gets level 6 here, ends up going aggressive because he actually wants to stop my TP. So go back a few seconds. I know they're going to make a play. So I start holding back. I start to go on this bush over here. Because I want to help my team. Even though it's possible we lose this engagement, I need to try to make the numbers fair here. As fair as possible. And I have an equalizer that could do a lot of damage in this fight. I definitely think this choice of backing in this bush is really bad. But if I had, what you'll see here is I actually kind of bait this bush, making the Cho'Gath think that I'm TPing in it for the first time. Watch, because Cho'Gath's gonna Q me, because he thinks I'm TPing, and so at this point in time, I just leave this bush. I should leave this bush, go under tower, and TP to help my team. But the problem is that they're already getting engaged on bot lane. It's a 2v4 at this point bot lane. Sure, my bot lane might be safe, but hey, I want to get my TP off and go help them out. And because I have equalizer, we have what? We have 1 level 4, 2 level 4, 1 level 6 who could be a problem with their shockwave, and then 1 level 5. So these 3 people are fairly useless against my damage in general. In comparison to my damage, rather. Orianna could disrupt me in particular, but ultimately these two should be fine to have Rakan engage and Xayah do damage while I'm dropping down equalizer and drawing fire. Now realistically J4 is going to start running in, but my decision in this fight might seem a little odd in retrospect, because we're going to end up doing a 3 versus 4, and these 4 guys have 3 forms of CC: Body Slam, Tornado, and Shockwave. So in retrospect, this TP in general is quite bad, because they're already leaving this tower, because these 2 are safe. They're not going to get dove. And I don't need to TP here because Cho'Gath already knows that I'm trying to TP. So watch, as I TP, he's going to ward, and he's going to end up silencing to stop my TP. So he's just terrible. I already won the mind game the first time, but then I go back a second time to try to basically just complete my TP play, but it doesn't make sense to complete the TP play if he already knew and was trying to guess that you were doing that in the first place. So without further ado, though, I do end up going in a little bit, trying to get some damage back over, because I am pretty strong. Even though Cho'Gath has a Ruby Crystal, it means pretty much nothing against my consistent damage. And so the wave up here top is pushing towards me. I do get, I believe, the cancel cooldown off on the TP, so it's going to be a little bit faster, but I don't join this fight, and it's kind of a waste of TP. Now Cho'Gath has TP advantage. So at this point in time, without TP advantage, I need to make sure I can harass the Cho'Gath to a point, hopefully, where he cannot join the fight. So at this point, I should try to zone off the Cho'Gath. And unfortunately, my lack of mastery of Rumble here makes it so that it's a little bit harder for me to completely zone out the Cho'Gath. I'm not doing the most optimal amount of damage with my combos and overheat mechanic. But I do start to get the hang of it throughout the matchup. We're going to see as I'm a level up here, I could force a little bit of a fight against Cho'Gath. Instead, I just hard shove it in, which honestly, if the Cho'Gath clears out this wave, gives him the opportunity to TP. I do want to get that back in for haunting guys, but I think hard shoving this wave and giving Cho'Gath the opportunity to TP if he wanted to is a really bad idea. Because they could make a play on the Corki here, because Corki's so exposed. And they do have Gragas, Orianna, Tristan, Janna with no contest right now, with our bot lane being back. Granted, they can't make a play on our bot lane because they're not there. I'm going to speed it up a little bit here as we get going. And so I'm going to get my back in. We need that haunting guys. We end up getting boots so we can stick to people a little bit more. And we really, really want to get either the Sork shoes or the Leandries on our next back, because that'll be a huge power spike with us. We're just going to keep power spiking over and over again against these big tanks. We're going to get the haunting guys, we're going to get the Sork shoes, and we're going to get the Leandries, and they're going to be, we're just going to absolutely shred the Cho'Gath and Gragas for the most part. So, with the lane pushing towards me right now, I should be looking as a top laner and identify, okay, where can they make a play? Now, my bot lane's just getting back, and we do have vision around bot lane for the most part, in the tri-brush and in the river. So, I should feel relatively confident that my bot lane's not going to get doved at the... they're not going to get dove at this point in time. And with our mid lane backing, I'm a little bit worried about a mid lane shove. But because we know that Tristan is backing on the ward, I don't have to worry too much about actually losing that tower. So I'm fine to just go back to lane and wait for Cho'Gath to come back as well, because Cho'Gath's not going to be making a TP play here. So Cho'Gath in this matchup, we see that he actually itemizes towards Righteous Glory. Obviously, Righteous Glory is a super strong item in general, but what's interesting is it doesn't have any MR on it. And so, in this matchup, I should be able to abuse that. I should be able to abuse the Cho'Gath around because he doesn't have any MR, aside from maybe some basic MR off runes, which I can't tell if he's running right now. But either way, I should be able to abuse him because I have magic penetration and I'm all AP. Unfortunately for this matchup, I was pretty content during this game to just let the Cho'Gath farm and scale up, which is something you never want to do against Cho'Gath. We definitely want to punish this Cho'Gath here too. If he ever uses Feast in lane, we want to either get a dive on him or we want to force a play on the other side of the map, because Cho'Gath is not strong without his Feast. And so if he's stacking up with that Feast, not on champions, we need to take advantage of that. I need to punish him or something. And so at this point in time, I'm a little bit cautious of Cho'Gath. He has Flash and TP up. He could definitely make a play on the other side of the map. Well, I can't at this point in time. At this, I should be calling for either J4 to come top, or I should just freeze the wave here and try to deny some Cho'Gath CS. We end up making some cross-map plays. We're doing some good work. And so I'm a little bit cautious of Cho'Gath TP. I should definitely be able to punish Cho'Gath if he goes for the TP here. He's just in my vision, so I should feel like I don't have to worry about him TPing, and I should try to keep vision of him at all times when he has TP up and I do not, and my team is trying to start some engagements. My bot lane at this point in time is extremely pushed up. We see the Cho'Gath with one stack of Feast. I don't believe the replay is actually accurate at this point in time with the cooldown. I believe that it's on cooldown. So we need to be punishing the Cho'Gath, and if our TP comes up, we need to be able to match his TP or actually get the TP advantage. If we want the TP advantage, we need to not make the same mistake again of backing near him. We need to back completely under tower or completely in the river or somewhere that he would not be able to walk up, silence, Q, whatever, you name it. And because he used Feast, he's not going to be a major threat if he TPs. So we need to try to either ask for J4 to come top, which J4 is low at this moment in time, or ideally, we should try to pressure this Cho'Gath. Under tower, we should try to make him miss CS, miss everything, because we also see Gragas bot. So this matchup, we could abuse the Cho'Gath immensely. Without his Feast, we're still not playing the wave correctly. We could be completely harassing this Cho'Gath, even possibly go for a kill if we brought up a jungler, or played it even better. And we know it's safe to go for this ward and everything. We can contest almost everything topside right now because Gragas is not here and Cho'Gath doesn't have Feast. We could absolutely dominate this wave. We could let this wave push towards us and then just completely focus on the Cho'Gath and kill him. That's the ideal situation here, is we could just completely zone off the Cho'Gath right here. Why use the Flame Spitter on Cho'Gath, or on these minions, when we could just completely zone Cho'Gath while he has TP up, make it so that A, he's not being able to do anything except for Feast on minions every once in a while, and B, not able to even TP play because he's too low. That should be the ideal Rumble play here. We are starting to pick up a slight CS lead just because of our extremely good pushing power on Rumble, but a CS lead alone is not going to mean anything if Cho'Gath is full HP every single time, and so are we. So what we see here is actually I moved up there to punish a little bit, but again, just back to the minion wave. We're just keep on hard shoving that minion wave. Granted, the Cho'Gath is actually pushing it back a little bit, which is optimal for us. We could completely fight him here, as he now has 3 stacks of Feast. He's just using Feast on minions on cooldown, and we're not punishing it. We should definitely try to get either call our jungler up here, say we can kill Cho'Gath, or just every single time he feasts, know that there's a 60-second window, 72-second window specifically, to go in on this Cho'Gath and try to get the kill. Because as Rumble, we could overheat and do some basic attack damage, especially so long as we avoid the Rupture. The Rupture is really powerful and it could disrupt us a bit, but so long as especially we face on Rumble, if you overheat or if you're even casting Flame Spitter and you do get CC'd, it will continue so long as it will continue to do damage so long as you're facing him. So if you get Ruptured and you're still in his face, Flame Spitting, then you're still going to do damage to him. So we could win the matchup just by almost hard engaging here. So definitely try to call J4 up here and try to go for the kill. Unfortunately, the Cho'Gath plays the matchup pretty well. Does understand that he has the pressure, he has the threat of getting dived here. We have Equalizer. If we had been harassing this Cho'Gath down much more, we could have called for the J4 to come dive the Cho'Gath under tower with my Equalizer and the J4. We could have just burst him with Cataclysm and Equalizer and destroyed the Cho'Gath here and won the lane really hard. So as we look at the map now, we look at the map and we see, okay, our mid laner's in base. Orianna just cleared the wave, so we know where she is for the most part, probably roaming up topside though. Their bot lane just shoved it in, and they're not seen, so they're probably backing. So in terms of where Gragas would be, Gragas would probably be top. We know that our jungler's top. We could probably win this 2v2, to be honest, if we force onto one target and focus our damage onto the one target. Excuse me. So I should try to bait here. I end up baiting a little bit, but they don't go for it. The Gragas doesn't loop around. Because they also have the same feeling. They have a feeling that either A, Corki's coming up, or B, J4's sitting up on this side of the map. So they don't go for it, and we end up netting nothing. At this point in time, well, we don't know where Gragas is, and our bot lane shoved in. We should definitely ask our bot lane, again, this is another key point, to just deep ward. Just give a deep ward for us, so that we can make a TP play bot and let them push in. Let them push in bot, have Corki come bot even, because Orianna's not there right now. Easily just push in the wave mid if possible. If not, get the melee creeps down mid, or range creeps down mid, and then run bot, and help us get a 4v2, or 4v3 with Cho'Gath. Now, we would definitely be seen by this ward, but we need to start making some plays through having the mid lane push and roam. And hopefully, I think the package is up relatively soon as well. So at this point, we can definitely make a TP play. We have 103 CS. We can go for that Leandri's in just a wave or two. They end up fighting in the mid lane. The Corki and Orianna. Nothing really special about that. And so at this point in time, with the lane kind of stagnated here, we could definitely go for that ward here. Let them push. Just don't even auto-attack the wave for the most part. Let them push, and we can go for that 2v3 or 4v2. Instead, we just keep on pushing in. It seems like we're pushing in every single wave all the time, which allows Gragas to play up a lot more, as he's 3-0, and it allows Cho'Gath to farm safely and not have to worry about very much, as he has 4 stacks now on his feast. So we're going to speed it up a lot here until the next big team fight, because right now it's just more commentary and not analysis. So here we go. And so without Cho'Gath being in lane, we figure, A, we should hard shove this wave, try to deny Cho'Gath some CS. Mid lane, be careful. It's probably a good call to make. And we have our J4 bot. which could at the worst be a 3v3 at this point in time, maybe a 4v4 if Cho'Gath TPAs and I need to follow. The only issue with a 4v4 right now is that Gragas is 3-0, but we do have their Tristana being 0-1, and I'm really strong with completed Leandries. So I start to hard shift top, which forces Cho'Gath to come back top. And so, at this point in time, we definitely go for the dragon fight. If we can play correctly around our carries, we can absolutely demolish this fight, because the only threat right now, the person with kills right now, is Gragas. Tristana over a sustained period of time, yes, will do damage, but we have a Xayah on just a little bit higher amount of damage, and we also have a Corki that is winning the matchup extremely well, or winning the matchup quite well. And so with my completed Leandries, we should be able to absolutely win a 4v4, 5v5, whatever, at this point in time. So, let's see here, we go. The Gragas, the most fed member, ends up going into our carry while we're doing Dragon. At this point in time, our team decides to peel off for Gragas because Tristana is also jumping in. And obviously Cho'Gath and myself are matching TPs. The optimal play here would be either to possibly to kill Gragas, although in my opinion he's way too tanky to be doing that right now. So I would recommend either jumping on Janna and blowing her up so that she cannot shield and assist the people in the fight, or ideally we kill the Tristana. The only reason why Tristana poses a little bit of a challenge is the fact that only our support and AD carry are on Tristana. Janna's nearby to help. The basically disengage from their team compared to our engage right here is pretty strong. So they don't win that 2v2. I need to get my TP in and help them out. Ideally, at this point in time, like with the champions where they are right now, the optimal Rumble play would be to flash over into this part of the fight and then harpoon Flame Spitter the Tristana and just get on her face and kill her before Janna can Monsoon and help her out a ton. Although likely we'll still get Monsooned. So see what happens here real quick. As we do completely engage on Tristana, which is the right play, Janna will likely Monsoon though, and our entire team's going to get thrown this way. Nope. And so with Trist flashing, we can just go for the kill on Trist. We end up killing Trist, and so at this point in time, we know that Orianna and Cho'Gath are coming down together. My play here should be to serve as a separation between the Orianna Cho'Gath and the Janna Gragas. The Gragas is going to be extremely hard to kill, so we should focus the Janna first. Because if Janna lives and Gragas will live for a longer period of time and still do a lot of damage, but Janna living will enable all of these other guys to do more damage throughout the fight. So, as we come in, get an equalizer down onto two, the Gragas and Orianna, and then Janna flashes out. Now Janna in this scenario is going to continue to assist her team. Ideally, I commit to Janna or Orianna here, because Orianna just now flashed in. My entire team is going to be hit by this shockwave. And I believe Tornado also right there. Oh no, never mind. So we have only J4 hit by the shockwave. We should commit to Orianna here, and then try to commit to Janna or Gragas, because Gragas got extremely low by sitting in my equalizer. And Cho'Gath is still separated from the fight. He still can't join the fight. So with Orianna sitting in my equalizer over and over again, we should just go for the immediate kill here on her. We end up getting Orianna, which is a pretty free kill. And then we should definitely try to scare Dragon if possible, but if not, we should go for Janna. I move up a little bit too far and get hit by the body slam, which will not only give him a shield, but will stall out this chase a lot. So they're able to completely disengage this fight from then on out. Let's go back a couple seconds and take a look at what I could have done on a Janna there at that moment in time. Now, after killing Orianna, I could have turned to be on Janna here with my harpoon up in just a couple seconds, just straight up ran at Janna and attempted to kill her. Because the chances of me getting Dragon against a Gragas Cho'Gath are extremely slim. What am I going to do to help that help secure that objective? Not much. So I could be turning my efforts towards actually killing the Janna, and hopefully the Gragas Cho'Gath get baited into helping her, and if not, we end up getting a free kill either way. So let's look at the play next. So, ideally, we kill Gragas. But that's unfortunately not going to happen because we don't have any summoners on our support. We have Flash on our J4, but he's really far behind. He doesn't have Cataclysm. We're not going to really catch this Gragas for the most part. Janna's speed is also going to come in and whatnot. It's going to be almost impossible. So at this point in time, we have a couple options. We could either try to push mid, or we could try to go for Rift Herald. We have 10 seconds left on Trist, 17 left on Orianna. Mid tower's at about a half HP, but the Cho'Gath wave clear is pretty strong. But either way, I would make the call to push mid tower here because their wave clear is reliant on a Gragas that's built Cinderhulk and a Cho'Gath wave clear. Now, Cho'Gath wave clear is pretty good. Hopefully we can bait them into a fight though, because we are 5 versus 3, and we could hopefully kill Jen if she overextends, or maybe Cho'Gath Gragas. The other option is Rift Herald. Rift Herald is very safe, but in terms of actually getting a tower's worth more than Rift Herald, because Rift Herald is a possible tower when a tower is obviously just actually a tower, and it gives you that gold and map pressure immediately. So we do make the call to go for mid tower here. We group up as 5, and we should put down the it's possible to put down the J4 flag, but since they do have 3 members, we should play it safe a little bit. And so as we go for the tower, we hard focus the tower, but then they engage on us. At this point in time, we should just hard commit and get the kill. Get the kill on Gragas for free, because we are a lot stronger as 5 members. They only have 3, and this is a free opportunity for us to capitalize. So we end up using our ADC summoners here. And at this point in time, the decision to make is definitely kill Gragas. And once we kill Gragas at this point, we should just leave. We should leave. Best case scenario, we get turret, but Tristana and Orianna are already they're on their way. We kill Gragas. We try to reset without losing mid tower. So we kill Gragas. We try to get mid tower, and we actually do get mid tower, which is an extremely ballsy call, because Tristana could join that fight. But fortunately, we do have the 5-man stack versus their 2-man. It's a pretty good net gain, and so we should definitely back out, reset after this play. Let's see what happens here in the next couple seconds. Alright, so as we start to reset, we should look, because our ADC has this wave pushing already. It's naturally going to push towards them. Now, their ADC could freeze that wave, but freezing that wave is much better for us, honestly, than having Xayah stay down here, commit too hard, and die, or something like that. And we're going to actually have Xayah have, 2,000 gold to back on right now. So we could have Xayah back, get her Essence Reaver and attack speed boots, and be extremely big threat here in this next fight. We should definitely just leave this wave at this point, because it's going to push, and we don't have a ton of vision in their jungle that's deep enough to see like Gragas coming, or even Orianna if she decided to, but luckily we see Orianna here in a couple seconds. But either way, we definitely just say, alright, Xayah, back. The wave's already pushing towards them, not pushing towards us. We don't need to worry about the wave that much. Ideally, yeah, you push it on the tower, but why take that risk when you have a bunch of gold in your pocket? So, I'm going to try to catch this wave top and try to reset. I have TP now, it looks like. And then, let's see, hold on. I'll click over here. The teleport counters might not be accurate considering we're pausing so much, so that might not be a... Or that's definitely not accurate, actually, because considering Cho'Gath and I both TP'd the dragon. Alright, so either way, these guys are pretty much alone on an island, 2v however many come. So it's not the greatest idea to stay. They end up pushing that wave in, and they stay for another wave. And they get engaged on. And blown up. Now, We could have just gotten an extremely good buy off our ADC, but instead we end up losing 2 to their Tristana, who scales super hard. I mean, nothing to analyze except say that's bad. So at this point in time, our team should assess, alright, what do we need to do next? Now, our Corki has a pretty big lane open now. The Corki has already shoved his lane in. He should look around the map, see what needs to be done. With me, even, too. And because my lane's pushing towards the other enemy team. So, if Tristana stays bot, yeah, it does need to be dealt with. Our J4 is going bot, in case they push the tower, and our Corki starts hugging that side. But in reality, the Janna Tristana, if J4 shows bot, is not going to kill the tower. So, we need to get our Corki top side and look for Rift Herald, and I can even join him on Rift Herald. Our Corki ends up seeing the Orianna head over that way. And so, at this point in time now that he saw the Orianna go over there, it's too dangerous to check this part of the map. If you check this part of the map, you will die because you have no vision. And who knows what could be over there aside from Gragas, Cho'Gath, and Orianna. So, I hard shove top, try to deny CS because we don't know where Cho'Gath is, and J4 ends up getting the wave because Tristana and Janna back off. So, with Janna Tristana missing, Corki does need to play safe in case he's about to get even 4 or 5 manned. He could get 5 manned here by everyone because we don't know where they are for the most part. So it is safer to just stay under tower at this point in time for the Corki. They end up getting Rift Herald, and so that immediately sends triggers to our team in order to say, hey, what should we do next? What's happening on their side? What would we do next? So we should think that our blue side is immediately being contested. We need to send resources top, or we need to hard commit for that bot tower to try to break their side of the map open. If we hard commit bot side, we're going to end up losing top probably 2 towers considering they have Rift Herald. Optimally, we would have J4 top side right now, and we'd be able to make sure top side stays safe, we don't lose anything. But because J4's bot, and their max, we see Janna mid, we saw Orianna go over this way, Cho'Gath was probably top, Gragas was there, we should think to, hey, go ahead, hard force this tower. We have a Xayah, Rakan, Jarvan. Jarvan can attack speed buff everyone, and then we should be able to get that tower. We see the people top. I back off. I'm able to hold a 1v3 without even burning flash because it's not that bad. I can just use Equalizer and hold it. It's not a big deal. I call for Corki top to help us stay safe, and then we should definitely go for this tower. Tristana stay safe. We're good. And we get that tower. Because they got Rift Herald, they're able to trade it for a tower easily. Nothing to say about that. And so our 3-man squad ends up backing. J4 ends up backing up, and this 2-man squad can't continue to shove in like this because who knows where Orianna is. With our mid lane shoved, our bot lane shoved, there's not a whole lot to do aside from deal with the pressure top at the moment, and that's what we should be focusing on until they end up. Until the Orianna ends up showing on the map, then we can begin to establish another play. Ideally, we force the top outer turret here. We need to sort of end up focusing our resources, probably switch our lane over top while I go bot as soon as we got that bot tower, and just swap and get that extra local gold and global gold as well onto our team. Our bot lane backs. I stay for the wave, but I actually stay too long here because what are they going to do after they caught the wave bot tower? Well, they're just going to keep pushing it in. And by pushing it in, with a Janna, Ardent Sensor, and a Tristana IE, they're going to get that tower. So ideally, I already make that run down bot as soon as my top tower falls, because we're going to send all of our resources top for that top tower. It takes me way too long to get down here for this bot tower, and we're going to end up losing it. At this point in time, we should definitely hard focus that top outer turret and try to get that down while keeping mid safe. We need to keep mid safe here because if I were them, the other team, if you see the 3-man push top with the jungler and the AD carry support, you have pretty much 2 options. Rumble's bot catching the wave that pushed into the tower and ended up killing the tower, so you don't have to worry about him too much. you have your top lane getting pushed, and you have a decently low mid turret that you could get. If I were the enemy team here, I would be Orianna, shove this wave in here, just like kill these creeps so that the next wave comes down without a problem. Cho'Gath TP should be up soon, if not already. Should be able to clear the 1v3 if you can establish that the Corki is not able to join that 1v3 though. So you need to establish some vision up topside to keep Cho'Gath safe while he wave clears this next wave. And then you need to take your AD carry, your Gragas, your Janna, your Orianna, and once this wave crashes into mid tower, you need to be able to force it on that first wave or two. They end up sending Tristana top and have the 4-man stack here in the mid lane without an AD carry. Obviously our team, we're just going to collapse on that because Tristana's top and doesn't have a global. I can TP and our carry dies immediately. So at this point in time, they're under tower, we're collapsing. This is, even though we lost a carry already, this is a pretty good fight considering it's a 4v4. And I have 2 kills with a Leandri Stork Shoes. We have a Xayah who's 2-2, and a Jarvan who's pretty strong. So I TP in, and I get my equalizer down onto Janna Cho'Gath. Now looking at their comp, the best damage to do on this fight right here is probably either onto Janna, Gragas, or Orianna. Cho'Gath already used his Feast, so he is realistically just a beefy frontliner. He does not do very much. Gragas is pretty strong, but we could probably burst him. Orianna does a lot of damage, even though she only has 1 completed item. And then Janna is a high-value target because she can keep all of them alive for an extremely long period of time. So I end up getting the equalizer onto Cho'Gath and Janna, try to optimize my damage on Cho'Gath while also doing damage to Janna. And Janna falls low and we end up killing her. Now, in terms of actual helping out their rest of their team, they don't have a Janna to help them out. So at this point in time, we should ignore Cho'Gath for the most part. Aside from kiting him out, we should try to kite him out away from our AD carry and try to get damage onto Orianna Gragas here. So Gragas is really strong, as you see by that base damage. We need to try to burst him out. And we don't really have any damage going into this fight. Let's go back a couple seconds to see actually why we don't have any damage going into them. Well, we're all taking damage. So they use Orianna Shockwave here. They use Cho'Gath Feast, and they use Gragas Flash. So Gragas doesn't have any escapes. Orianna doesn't have a lot of burst, although she does have her QW. So kill Janna easy here. And then in terms of the rest of the fight, what do? Our Rakan gets zoned out actually from the entire fight because of this wall from J4. So we don't have any CC to help mitigate the frontline damage right now. We have a Cho'Gath stuck in the crater with Jarvan, who's not gonna. The Cho'Gath's not gonna take any damage, and he's gonna do a little bit of damage back onto our people, possibly even silence me or something like that. And then we have me, who's getting a little bit of damage off on the Gragas, but Gragas is just gonna restore that. He has mercs. Like I can't do the mission alone at this point in time, especially against an Orianna shield that's likely gonna come in. So ideally, we drop the crater because this damage is already done with the Rakan charm. We're not going to get that Rakan charm off. We needed to drop the crater, fall back, wait for them to all funnel into this choke point, and then re-engage. Instead, we see Rakan outside the ulti still, stuck on the ulti, whatever you want to call it. Not able to do anything, still stuck inside the crater. We're keeping Cho'Gath in the front line while I'm taking free damage from over here. Now I'm almost out of the fight. We end up getting the heal out of Orianna to help keep Cho'Gath alive, and I get silenced and die because I don't play the spacing well enough on that. We get disengaged because Gragas still has ulti, and our J4 tries to go in, but misses EQ. At this point in time, you give it up. You see that Tristana is coming in, you have to just leave the fight because Xayah has flash and heal, she can get out. Unless the cooldowns are wrong. They might be wrong. But at this point in time, you just sacrifice Zaya at that point in time. Either way, if she doesn't have those cooldowns up, you get out with Jarvan and Rakan because we lost the fight already because we didn't land our abilities appropriately. So let's look back at that Cho'Gath creator real quick. Because actually this Cho'Gath is seeming to take a little bit of damage from Equalizer on the side here. In terms of the J4 Crater, what we end up doing here is we end up keeping the Cho'Gath corralled while still taking damage from their carry, and their front line, while we're not able to deal or dish any damage back onto them. So it's a pretty bad spot to be in. At this point in time, after getting the Janna pick, we should honestly probably just disengage because we know Tristana's coming down. So we see what happens. We end up losing myself and Zaya and Rakan here as they roll over our team and Tristana picks up some kills. J4 ends up staying and dies. And so our team immediately think, alright, what do we need to do from here? They're going to push mid. If they don't, they're going to get this tower for sure. We have Corki up in 2, so they might not push the secondary turret. If they push the secondary turret, we push them off. We know, let's take a look at the situation. They have a Cho'Gath with no HP. Janna's going to come off spawn. Gragas is and Tristana's looking but not super. She's still pretty healthy, and Orianna's extremely healthy because Morello's. So in terms of what we need to do is we need to either catch them when they push for the second turret here, or we need to go for Infernal. Infernal's the best decision here, so long as they don't go for Baron. Cho'Gath should have TP here, so Baron play is actually possible with Red Team. Red Team could force Baron. Excuse me. We need to establish some vision by Baron to ensure that they don't go for it, or if they go for it, we know we can collapse. And then we also need to get Infernal Drake in the process. So as we come up for spawns, they don't take the turret fast enough, and we're able to get back out on the map as they reset, because they were likely going to reset. Trist ends up burning the rest of her mana, and so forth. So we should just we know this wave isn't going to go down to the tower. Like, we know this wave isn't going to kill the tower. We should hard commit to this Infernal Drake and try to get it before they come up. Their team has the same idea, and they're there exactly at the same time. So we need to identify where their team is. We don't have any vision of their team. We don't even know Orianna's in that bush at the moment. And we just know that the cone's been popped on us, or whatever, the plant's been popped. We see Orianna on that side alone. At this point in time, the best call is probably to back out completely. The Corki should back out because the Jarvan's far off at this moment in time. So we should just back off, give them control for the time being, and wait for Jarvan so we regroup. So I have the flank at this point in time. I want to try to get my Equalizer off. Ideally, we want to get the Equalizer off onto Tristana and have her locked down by the J4 Rakan. If we can't get Tristana, we need to try to get Orianna in the Equalizer or Janna. Preferably multiple targets. We definitely don't want to just throw down the Equalizer on either one of the tanks, though. Especially with them optimizing now for MR. So I have the flank. Our team goes in, and at this point in time, the best Equalizer is quite honestly probably one right here. We could get J4 Cataclysm off onto Tristana to lock her down while I get my Equalizer damage off. We have to, for the most part, ignore these guys. And if we don't ignore these guys, then Rakan should go for the charm on both these guys. But ideally, Rakan goes for the charm and runs through this entire team, looping back around and getting the charm on all of them. Okay? So let's see how it plays out. We end up getting the perfect Cataclysm down right there. My Equalizer doesn't hit Orianna, but it does hit both Trist and Janna. Trist gets the basically delayed jump off onto when he Cataclysms, so it doesn't lock her down. If he had waited till she started jumping, he could lock her down with the Cataclysm actually and bring her back down. But instead she gets out. We should get Janna for free there while she sits on my Equalizer. And at this point in time, we have a Xayah right here who's able to do some free damage. We have a Corki who's chunked out but does have Flash. He should be able to use the big one. Xayah should probably be able to get in there on the Orianna. And with me and Rakan, we should definitely focus on getting this Orianna out. Because Tristana is out of the fight. He's going to be able to probably pick up J4 with the help of Cho'Gath. And we should be able to clean up Orianna, regroup, and see if we can kill the rest of the threats. We kill Orianna almost immediately, and Cho'Gath's still sitting in my Equalizer. At this point in time, best idea is probably kill Gragas, although Cho'Gath does have Feast. So hopefully we can get our Rakan over here to hit him with the charm. And then I should not use my shield, because with my shield I end up overheating and I'm not able to dish out any damage. If I was able to Flame Spitter, I would probably be able to kill at least Cho'Gath before he's able to get his Feast off, or do a lot more damage onto both of them in general. Because I use my shield here, it should be immediate call to disengage. Rakan's dead, basically at this point. We just call Rakan's dead, J4 needs to disengage, because we're not going to win this fight. We have to fall back while I am overheated. Instead, we're probably going to end up going in. The optimal play is for me to fall back while overheated. He's not going to have Feast anymore. I'm going to be able to kill them when I'm back up in terms of my flames. I'm still overheated. I'm not able to do any damage while Tristana is pushed up unpunished. And see, if I had been there, I would have been able to kill all of these people with my non-overheated self. Instead, Tristana's able to jump in my face, and he's able to stay alive. So at this point in time, we need to reassess. We have bot lane pushing, so they're going to have to go deal with it. Mid lane's in a good spot. They're not dealing with it, with Tristana at least. So they're going to reset. So immediately our concern turns to Baron. We should push out top wave because it's going to push towards us. Eventually we're going to need to deal with bot wave because it's going to shove towards us as well. And then mid lane we need to keep under control. We need Baron control in terms of vision. We need mid lane control in terms of wave. And then we need top side to push if possible. And so we come out of base. They end up starting to get vision control. I go bot side because I have TP. I just need to make sure that bot wave doesn't push towards us super hard. I'm probably going to catch that wave when possible. And then we should immediately group as a team, 4-stack or 3-stack and 1 by himself, in a sense, and clear out that vision around Baron, and make sure we keep control of the mid wave. Right now, mid wave's fine, top wave's pushing towards them, I think, so we should be good. I cleared the bot wave, so it would take a long time for Cho'Gath to split push. We should try to go for some more Baron control, because all we did was get down 1 ward with our support. We should move as a unit. We should, for the most part, ignore our bot side jungle. Maybe give Xayah red, but then move up towards that Baron. Instead, we're playing around the bot side of the map. Well, the enemy team not only gets free Baron control, but they might even just start Baron itself. It's extremely worried because we don't know. It's the most powerful thing is vision, because you don't know what the possibilities could be happening on the other side. And so, instead of contesting around Baron, we feel strong enough to fight. Our only fight at this point in time works if we can kill Tristana and Orianna. Janna, yeah, sure, she'd probably be able to save Cho'Gath and Gragas for a while, but Cho'Gath and Gragas would only be able to kill one person likely with Cho'Gath's Feast over a sustained period of time. We have to blow up the Tristana and Orianna. And so, our ideal fight right here is, we're going to go back a couple seconds before the engage. We see Cho'Gath collapsing. Okay, yeah, Cho'Gath, you might be able to kill him, so long as he's not near anybody else. Gragas, Janna, Tristana, they're all pretty far away, yeah. Orianna's pretty close, though. So it's probably, a 2v5, if you can go fast enough. Our team ends up collapsing about the same rate as the other guys, so we're just going to get just ahead of them. So we're not going to be able to burst down a guy with 3.1k health in a couple seconds before their team collapses. But we do end up trying to engage on them. We blow our EQ, And then as soon as we do that, we see their team coming into vision. Our goal should immediately be lock down Orianna with Cataclysm, because Janna's going to walk in there and be inside the Cataclysm with her, and then I can burn my Equalizer over both of them straight this way and just shred the back line completely, if not kill them. And so instead we try to burn everything on Cho'Gath. I end up getting an Equalizer a little bit down on Tristana. Janna's sitting in it for a while. Gragas is sitting in it. Cho'Gath's sitting in it. But Orianna's untouched. Tristana's going to step out of it and then be untouched for the rest of the fight too. And immediately you see chaos ensue as their backline is untouched and our engage doesn't even touch the backline whatsoever. Cataclysm way too late. We're not going to be able to do anything with it. And then we just see us fall apart. So the rest of the game is pretty straightforward. They're just going to roll over us as we can't find the right engage onto their team. We're not really going to talk about it the last part of the game because they just played around Baron, and we just fell over basically as they were just able to quite literally run over our team. So, in retrospect, although this game seems to be actually awful in terms of not only decision making, but just playmaking, team fighting in general for both teams, the Cho'Gath team did play a little bit better, but in terms of their composition in general, we're going to do a little bit of an analysis here. So we have the Rumble versus Cho'Gath matchup, which it's pretty much 50-50. Both do a lot of damage. Both have like kill pressure in a sense in a team fight. They're both pretty even. Cho'Gath, though, is extremely beefy. So not only is he doing damage, he's a big front line for the team. Well, I'm more of like a flank equalize, maybe get in the face a little bit once I have Zhonya's. Either way, I'm nowhere near the tank stats of Cho'Gath. Now, paired with a Gragas, Cho'Gath Gragas can literally just sit in your face, be shielded up by Orianna, Janna, whatever. They're not taking damage at all. They're just not taking damage. So the ideal fight for the Rumble comp is you want to catch the Orianna Trist in the Equalizer, kill them off with Rakan combo around, or catch them out. You cannot fight a typical front-to-back team fight against this team. You will lose. Your front line is nowhere near as tanky. Jarvan is maybe okay up against Gragas in terms of tanky stats, but I would still even argue Gragas is a much better tank, especially when he's up in scoreline by 713 to 147. And then in terms of AD carry and support, you have a matchup of Trish Janna, Xayah Rakan. Xayah Rakan is really good. You have a really good engage potential too with Xayah Rakan, but you're not going to be able to engage against Gragas ulti, Tristana Buster Shot, Janna Monsoon, and even if you do get that perfect engage, if you get behind on this composition, you don't have the damage to follow up. Compared to the Tristana comp, where if you get behind in the game at all, you can farm it out, have your Tristana get farm lead, you can get your Orianna to get some items and just do a bunch of damage with a Shockwave and QW combos. Your Gragas will naturally do a lot of damage with base stats, and your Cho'Gath will do immense damage over time, especially as he continues to feast. And so early game, we'll go over a little bit of what happened. It didn't matter if Rumble had a CS lead or kills up on the Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath, every single time it came up, was feasting and just feast. And so Cho'Gath is going to outscale unless you make a play. So you have to make a play with your Xayah Rakan on that Trish Janna. You have to pull the trigger. You have to take the risk. You have to take the risk on this comp. You have to go for the backline. You cannot sit back the same manner of the Tristana Janna comp. Tristana Janna comp with Cho'Gath Gragas, you could quite literally wait for the team to engage onto you, and you can disengage. Or you can have Cho'Gath run it in, Gragas run it in, with Orianna Shockwave, whatever you want, you're going to be fine in the front line. So yes, the comps do seem a little bit unfair in that aspect. The Cho'Gath comp does seem much stronger than the Rumble comp, but that's not to say the Rumble comp can't win. There were plenty of instances where the Rumble comp could win. Sure, the margin for error is a lot smaller than that of the Cho'Gath comp, but you could win, and we did have the tools to win too. We had a 2-0 Rumble, we had a 1-0 J4, we had a 2-2 Corki, a 2-2 Xayah. We basically had our carries and our tanks with gold on them, And yet when the team fights came around, we became a little bit too obsessed with, yeah, Janna is not so much a high priority target compared to Trist Orianna, but she's a pretty good target. But we became obsessed with, in that fight in mid lane in particular, trying to kill Cho'Gath off, when realistically you're never going to kill a Cho'Gath with gargoyles in like 5 seconds before his team comes, or a Gragas that's in the front line just nuking your carries. You need to utilize not only the Rumble, but the J4 to combo the backline. You need to utilize the Rakan to charm them, to CC lock them, so that you can get the good equalizer off. Because, yeah, a Cataclysm with the equalizer, yeah, sure, that's a great combo. You're doing it a couple times a game. It doesn't matter if you can't keep them in there. And that's what the problem was with the Tristana, with the Orianna. The Orianna would flash away, the Tristana would jump out, and ideally, in this situation for the enemy team, the Janna would just ult or shield the teammates while they stood in the equalizer and whatnot. Thankfully, we did kill off the Janna. I'd say that's one of the highlights. A lot of people wouldn't prioritize Janna in this situation, but Janna would keep them all alive for so long with Ardent Censer and Athenes. And we were able to kill them off many, many times, which enabled for possibilities in fights, but never were we able to actually, except for in, say, the first fight around Dragon, able to securely, successfully beat their comp. So thank you for watching this installment, and I hope that you guys can give me some feedback on what I can do to improve in the future, and hopefully you guys stick around for next time. Thank you so much for watching.